intent. With that much variety, it's clearly not about rigid adherence to.
Okay, so picture this. You're walking through a forest. It's that specific time of year, maybe late October, where the air is crisp and everything smells like, damp earth, pine needles, all of that. You take a deep breath, and for just a second, you feel completely grounded, connected. You're not worrying about your email inbox or the laundry. You're just there.
Right.
Now, imagine if you could bottle that feeling. Or even better, what if you could turn it into a daily practice that actually helps you navigate the absolute chaos of modern life?
A noble goal.
And, well, that's exactly where we're going today.
It is a fascinating destination. We are stepping out of the corporate grind and looking at the intersection of nature, mindfulness, and, yes, a little bit of magic.
A little bit of magic, exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into The Witch's Apothecary, a guide to seasonal magic by Lorriane Anderson. And I have to be honest with you, right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
When I first saw this title in our stack, my brain went in two very different directions.
Okay, where did it go?
Well, direction one was apothecary. That word feels very scientific, right? It sounds old world, dusty bottles, maybe a distinct smell of medicinal herbs.
Like a history lesson.
Yes. Like a history lesson or something that needs a degree in 17th century chemistry. But then the subtitle is seasonal magic, which sounds lovely, but maybe a little abstract, a little woo-woo. So help us navigate this. Are we looking at a history book, a fantasy novel, or something else entirely?
It's neither, actually, and that's what makes this particular source so interesting for us to analyze. If we look at the core of Anderson's work, it's very much a hands-on handbook. It's practical.
Okay.
It's not just theory or folklore. It's a guide to what the author calls sacred living and intuitive magic.
Sacred living. I really like the sound of that. It definitely sounds a lot better than frantic living, which is what I feel like most of us are doing.
Frantic living should be the title of my autobiography.
Mine too. I think a lot of us would buy that book.
But sacred living is the antidote. And that's the bridge this book tries to build. It blends modern witchcraft with mindfulness. It's taking that spiritual work, which can feel, intangible.
You're just in your head.
And grounding it in tangible physical actions.
So it's not just about sitting on a cushion and manifesting good thoughts. It's about doing stuff, getting your hands dirty.
Correct. It's about making things. And I think that physical component is key to why this book resonates. It's moving from the abstract to the concrete. You aren't just thinking about peace. You're brewing a tea that represents peace.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the structure of the book is really unique, and I think it's essential to understanding how it all works. It's not organized like a normal cookbook, right?
No.
You don't just go to the index and look for Tuesday or how to fix a bad mood.
No, you don't. The framework here is very specific and fundamental to the philosophy. The book is organized around the seasonal wheel of the year.
The wheel of the year. We hear that term floated around in certain circles, usually alongside crystals and tarot cards. But for those of us who might not be totally up to speed on our pagan terminology, what exactly does that mean?
So in many nature-based spiritualities, and in this book specifically, time isn't viewed as a linear march. Usually we think of time as a straight line from January 1st to December 31st.
Right. Always moving forward.
Always moving forward, always trying to progress, that whole up and to the right mentality.
Yeah, the quarterly earnings chart approach to life. If you aren't moving forward, you're failing.
Exactly. But the Wheel of the Year views time as a cycle. It organizes life and spiritual practice around nature's cycles, the solstices, the equinoxes, and the points in between.
So it acknowledges you're meant to return to the same points again, just with new wisdom.
That's it. So instead of Q1 goals, we're talking about planting and harvesting.
Got it.
The book specifically references the Sabbats.
Can you define that? Sabbats. I feel like that word carries a lot of baggage from pop culture.
Sure. In this context, Sabbats are simply the specific seasonal holidays in the pagan calendar. There are 8 of them. You have the solstices and the equinoxes, and then the cross-quarter days that fall exactly between them. Anderson's approach is to align her recipes with these moments.
Okay, but I have to play devil's advocate here. Why does that matter? If I want to make a potion for, let's say, relaxation, why does it matter if it's winter or summer? Lavender is lavender, right?
Right. The chemical compounds don't change. That's the million-dollar question, and this is where the insight comes in. According to the philosophy in the source, it is all about alignment. Think about the energy of the earth in winter.
It's cold, it's quiet, things are sleeping, it's dark by 4:30.
Right. It's a time of dormancy. The earth is conserving energy. So if you are trying to do a high energy, new growth, working like trying to launch a massive new project during the dead of winter, you are effectively swimming upstream.
That's a really interesting way to look at burnout, actually.
It is, isn't it?
Because we usually try to run at 100% capacity all the time.
Yep.
We expect the same productivity in January that we have in June.
Yeah.
But this book is suggesting if you use the energy that's already there, you get better results.
Exactly. In winter, according to Anderson, you focus on rest, introspection, preservation. You align your magic with that quietness.
You make blends that are warming, comforting.
Exactly. Then, in spring, when everything is bursting forth, that's when you focus on growth and new beginnings. You use the momentum nature is already providing.
That actually makes a ton of sense. It's like you wouldn't try to plant a tomato in a snowbank.
Perfectly put.
You wait for the conditions to support the action.
It's about spiritual efficiency, in a way. You connect your personal work to the rhythm that's happening outside your window.
It gets back to that idea of sacred living. You aren't separate from nature. You're moving with it.
And the book argues that when you start fighting those cycles, life becomes a little less of a struggle. You stop beating yourself up for being tired in the winter because you realize you're supposed to be.
I love that. It takes the pressure off. Okay, so we have the framework, the seasons. Now let's talk about the fun part, the toolkit, because the title is The Witch's Apothecary. I'm picturing bubbling cauldrons, maybe some eye of newt.
You can put the eye of a newt away.
Good to know. My grocery store is always out of stock anyway.
This is much more botanical. When we look at the ingredients list in the source, it's surprisingly grounded. The book breaks down components like herbs, crystals, fragrances, just natural ingredients.
So these are things I can find at a good grocery store or on a nature walk, not down a dark alley in a fantasy novel.
Definitely. It's very accessible. It's often called kitchen witchery. Using what is available to you in your immediate environment, finding the magic in the rosemary you put on your potatoes.
And what are we actually making with these things? The source mentions potions, which again sounds very Harry Potter. Are we drinking them?
Sometimes it's actually quite varied. The book details recipes for potions, which are basically teas or infusions, but also things you don't drink. We're talking candles, incense, oils, bath salts, and what it calls magical blends.
Magical blends.
Yeah.
Is that like a spice rub?
It could be. Or a potpourri, or a sachet to put under your pillow. What stands out to me is just the volume and variety. The book has over 100 recipes and exercises.
Wow, over 100. That's substantial. That's a lot of experimenting.
It is. And this brings up an important point about the author's intent. With that much variety, it's clearly not about rigid adherence to a rule book. It highlights the creative aspect. It encourages experimentation.
I like that. So it's not, you must mix exactly 3 grams of sage with 2 drops of lavender or the universe will implode.
Not at all. It seems designed to help you find what resonates with you. It's a toolkit, not a commandment. If you don't like the smell of patchouli, you don't have to use it.
Thank goodness.
The magic doesn't break just because you have a preference. It empowers the reader to become the alchemist.
So we have the seasons, we have the ingredients, the herbs and oils, but there's a missing piece, right? Because I can mix lavender and oil together and just have good smelling oil. What turns it into magic?
Yeah, what makes it an apothecary item and not just a craft project?
Exactly.
Here's where it gets really interesting. This is where we pivot from the physical to the mental. The source explicitly states this isn't just a cookbook. It involves energy work.
Energy work. Let's define that for the skeptics in the back and for me. What does Anderson mean by energy work here?
The core mechanic of it, if you will, is setting intentions.
We hear that phrase a lot these days, setting an intention. It's almost corporate speak. My intention for this meeting is to circle back.
Right. But here, think of it this way. The ingredient, the herb, the crystal, that is the vehicle. It has its own properties, sure. We know lavender is chemically calming. But the intention, that is the fuel.
So the intention is what tells the vehicle where to go.
Precisely. Without the intention, you just have a scented candle. It smells nice. But with intention, with a focused, specific desire directed into that object while you're making it, according to the source, you have a tool for focus and change.
So it's about psychological focus. You're anchoring a desire to a physical object.
Yes. It creates a physical touchstone for a mental goal. When you light that candle later, your brain instantly recalls the intention you set. It triggers a mindset shift.
So what kind of change are we talking about? What are these blends actually used for? Are we hexing our enemies?
No, the book focuses on much more positive internal outcomes. The source lists several targeted outcomes like healing, abundance, love, and personal transformation.
That covers pretty much all the bases of the human experience.
It really does, and I think that speaks to why people are drawn to this. It's actionable. If you are feeling stuck or anxious, you don't just sit there feeling stuck, you create a blend for transformation. You engage in a ritual act.
It gives you agency.
Yes, agency is a great word for it. It turns a passive feeling into an active process. You stop waiting for things to change and you start brewing the change, literally.
Now, I have to ask the question I'm sure some listeners are thinking, do I need to be an expert witch to use this? Do I need a black cat and a pointy hat?
No black cat required.
Good, I'm allergic.
The book is actually designed very specifically to bridge that gap. Anderson wrote it for both beginners and experienced practitioners.
How do you balance that? Usually books are either Introduction to 101 or Advanced Theory.
Well, for beginners, it covers the basics of setting intentions and energy work. It defines the terms, explains the how-to, and really breaks down the barrier to entry.
Great, removes the imposter syndrome of spirituality.
Exactly. But for experienced practitioners, the value is in the depth of the recipes and the focus on seasonal alignment. It allows them to deepen their craft. Maybe they've been making oils for years, but haven't tuned into the seasonal nuance.
So it grows with you. It meets you where you are.
Exactly.
I want to zoom out a bit. We've talked about the recipes, but the source material mentions something bigger. It calls the book a spiritual lifestyle guide.
Yes, and this is crucial. If you only look at the recipes, you miss the forest for the trees.
Or the herbs for the potion.
Right. The bigger picture here is sacred and intentional living.
What does that mean in the 21st century? Because intentional living sounds great on Instagram, but I have laundry to do and emails to answer. It feels like a luxury.
And that is exactly why this perspective is relevant. The book emphasizes slowing down and practicing self-care, but not self-care as in buy a bath bomb and scroll on your phone.
Slowing down. Easier said than done.
It is. But think about the process we just described. Imagine you decide to make a tea blend for the autumn equinox. You have to gather ingredients, you have to boil water, you have to measure the herbs, you have to wait for it to steep.
You can't really rush that. You can't microwave magic.
You can't. The process forces you to slow down. It demands presence.
Oh, I see. The act itself is the break.
Correct. The act of making these items is the self-care. It's not just about having the finished candle. It's about taking 20 minutes to be mindful, to touch natural materials, to breathe.
That's a really powerful reframing. It's not a chore to add to your list. It's a way to escape the list for a minute.
And to reconnect. The book talks about cultivating a spiritual connection to the earth. In a world where we spend so much time on screens, disconnected from the seasons, we have AC, we have heating, we often forget what the earth is even doing.
It grounds you.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, literally.
And there was a phrase the source used that I really loved. Intuitive magic. Can we touch on that?
Yes. In this context, intuitive magic is about trusting one's own connection to the materials and to the earth.
So trusting your gut.
Essentially, yes. It's about moving away from, am I doing this right? And toward, does this feel right? Does the scent make me feel the way I want to feel?
That requires a lot of trust in yourself.
It does, and that's part of the growth the book encourages. It's about learning to listen to yourself again. The ultimate goal is to help readers bring magic and mindfulness into everyday life, not just on holidays, every day.
Making the mundane magical.
Precisely. Finding the ritual in the routine.
So let's recap. We have a guide that's organized by the seasons, the wheel of the year. It uses natural ingredients to create intention-based blends. And it's tailored for everyone, from the total newbie to the seasoned pro.
That is a great summary. And again, the value proposition here is really about grounding. It's a tool for reconnecting with nature's cycles. It's practical spirituality.
I love that. And you know, as we were talking, I started thinking about something.
What's that?
We've been talking about potions and brews and intentions, and it sounds mystical. But the source says magic is basically setting a clear intention and using nature to focus that energy.
Yes.
So here's a thought for you and for everyone listening, if that's the definition. Are there potions we're already brewing in our daily routines that we just haven't labeled as magic yet?
That's a fascinating question. What do you mean?
I mean, think about the morning coffee. It's a ritual. I do it every day. I grind the beans, that's nature. I brew with hot water, that's alchemy. And I drink it with the very specific intention of waking up, shifting my state of consciousness, and facing the day. Is that a potion?
You know, by Anderson's definition, I think it absolutely is.
Or your skincare routine. You apply natural oils with the intention of caring for yourself, of preservation.
Or cooking dinner for your family with the intention of nourishing them.
Exactly. We're doing these little rituals of transformation all day long. We just call them chores or habits. But maybe we're all a lot more magical than we think we are.
I think you're right. We just need to add that layer of mindfulness to what we're already doing.
Change the label from routine to ritual.
I think Lorriane Anderson would agree with that entirely. It's about recognizing the magic that's already in your hands.
Well, on that note, I think I'm going to go brew a very intentional cup of tea. And I'm going to really think about the leaves while I do it.
Sounds perfect.
Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. It's been a real journey.
It has. Thanks for having me.
And thank you to everyone listening. We hope this deep dive added a little bit of magic to your day. See you next time.
Like and subscribe for more Bookhaven podcasts.